Hey guys, it's your pal Tom Kelly. Real quick, today's show is one of those attempts at art that just may have missed the mark. I took the selfie stick and went out to Columbus Avenue and did a open street edition of the Tom Kelly Show. I met a nice couple from Boston who had just moved to New York, and we were kind of getting into the conversation of why would you move to New York? Should you move to New York? And then by wonderful coincidence, a woman walks by who the couple I was talking to had met the day before. She was from Australia, and you could basically see where we go from one type of podcast into another, and you can see the moment where your old pal Tom lost control of the show. Well, I did a rough cut, and my friend Susanna really liked the theme of what's irking you about New York and whether or not people should move to New York. So today on the podcast, you can experience Tom talking with a bunch of random people on the street, and then afterwards, your thoughts on advice for a couple that just moved from Boston to New York. Enjoy the show. No, let's just start. Hey, trigger warning, spoiler alert. We're starting the damn podcast. This is the I Have a Cold and the Open Street edition of the Tom Kelly Show. Don't worry, it's not COVID, it's monkeypox.
I already had COVID.
Have you had it? Yeah. That's nothing? You know, get behind me, lady, if you're going to talk. Get in the shot, lady. The lady in front of me just went monkeypox. I don't know. It makes you ugly. See, people.
Don't worry about the COVID.
Are you calling my wife ugly?
No, monkeypox. Does she have it?
Yes.
And watch me get my ass kicked, ladies and gentlemen. So, this is so it's the Tom Kelly Show. I'm a comedian. I live over there, and I work at a bunch of TV shows, and it's about me rebuilding my life after the pandemic. That's the gimmick of the podcast, and I'm performing a lot around here. And
I look forward to seeing you.
Are you going to open your podcast app and subscribe right now? Because I have to close the deal. That's what I do. I live in the neighborhood.
The pandemic is all trumped up, no pun intended.
No, you know what it was? There were 10 I used to work at a couple of TV shows at ABC, and I was the warm-up comedian, and there were 10 jobs like mine in a city. Now there's only 6. I used to have 2 of those jobs. And there's 6, and now I don't have 2 of them. But the good news is I'm rebounding this fall. I'm subbing in for the guy who works at Rachel Ray. I'm subbing in for the guy who works at Stephen Colbert. I'm subbing.
Stephen Colbert, that's fun.
That's a great show. Tom Kelly Show.
Where they tell you to
Tom
yay
Kelly?
and you're gonna scream
So
down.
you could be my audience now if you guys want. We could practice.
Timothy?
Tom Kelly Show. God damn it. See.
We just came from a really good.
Are you drunk? I'm trying to figure this out. So.
No, he's got problems.
So let me explain to the audience because I am recording. Tom Kelly and then add the word show. For those of you watching, I'm sitting in the middle of Columbus Avenue.
You got us 4 to stop and wonder why you were sitting in the middle
Kelly
of
Show.
Yes.
Podcast comedy.
Yes.
That's
And if
it.
you watch the YouTube version, you're going to see me. So hit the subscribe button now. And there you go. You hit the follow button and you'll hear this by the end of the week.
Okay, great.
There you go.
So they're just moving to the city. They're going to be
Wait,
following
get
you.
behind me. Wait, get behind me. Let's talk about this. Hang on. This is not what I wanted to do for the show, but this is much better. But sit down with me. Come on. Sit on the floor. There were chairs here. I'm making friends. I have no idea what the audio quality is going to
We
be like.
don't know if we want to sit on the street.
No, but here's why you can sit on the street here. The dogs don't pee here because the cars would run them over. No, the pee's over there and the pee's over there. This is where the traffic is. Here we could get hit by a biker or something. But
I almost did.
no, and I'm going through a big mode of you're moving to New York.
Yes.
Don't. That's my advice right now. Get the hell
Not
out.
my side.
Where are you go? Where are you from?
Boston.
You're from Boston.
Yes.
Why are you moving to New York? Let's start with that. What's that?
For a grandchild.
Oh, well, that's different. Why not move the grandchild to New York? It's probably safer for the grandchild. They won't leave.
Yeah.
They love it here.
Okay. They love it?
Central Park South and they love it.
Oh, hold on. So your son or daughter?
Son.
Central Park South, their son is rich, ladies and gentlemen. If you're much richer than you are?
Oh,
Are
absolutely.
they moving you or are you moving yourself?
We're moving ourselves.
See, that's my fantasy is to be rich enough that I could move my parents, but I know I can't. And you're doing daycare? No, but that's beautiful. That's like you're young for a grandma, which is cute.
Yes.
He looks about right, but but that's the, like
He's much
I
older.
guess here's the right way to say this. I hope that being a grandparent and doing daycare brings you as much joy as it did my parents. That's the right way to say it.
Oh,
My
great.
my father.
did it.
Yeah, my brother, thank God, my brother Sal and his wife Janine had kids because my dad was actually looking at getting a taxi cab license in New York City. He actually went through the process and my dad is it's a very difficult process to get the yellow cab license, and he did this pre-Uber around 2009. 2009, 2010, my father thought he was going to get an independent job where he could work whatever hours he felt like. And back in 2010, if you wanted a cab, it was for 12 hours a day. You either woke up at 4 a.m. or you dropped the cab off at 4 a.m., but you had to work a 12-hour day. So then, thank God, my sister-in-law pops out a baby, my nephew TJ, and instead of working for the man, he wound up working for a 5-year-old kid, and he loved every minute of it.
So excited.
All right, like how old
That's
is the
great.
grandkid? How old is the
She's gonna
grandkid?
be 10 months.
10 months.
So you selling all your Boston all together?
We're not
No,
sure
not
yet.
quite.
We're not sure yet.
Not
We're
quite.
here for 6 months. We've
6
committed
months.
to 6 months.
Okay. I think you're gonna like it, or I don't think you're gonna love it. We see, like right there, a bike just whizzed past our heads, right there.
He clearly was going to miss you. There's no question.
No, I think you just have to have faith, and I have so much faith I'm willing to sit in the city. Sometimes my podcast can be a little depressing or real or whatever. I'm actually very angry they're expanding that restaurant over there because it's gonna just cut off the energy. Like, New York is so claustrophobic. That they're expanding this restaurant, Kasaki. Add that to my list of restaurants you're not allowed to go to, Tom Kelly Show fans. Kasaki's on the ban list. It's a very, very expensive Asian food place. It's actually really good. Look, they're going. Where did you go?
Layla's.
Oh, you're not allowed to go there either, and I'll tell you why. Because that's the only restaurant I've ever protested in my life.
Really?
Because they expanded.
No, did you?
Oh, that was so good.
Was it?
Let's hear, but I want to hear what you have to
All right,
say.
and audience, I'm not telling you to because I'll get sued for it. But if you happen to give Layla a 1-star review, I'm okay with it. Because they expanded under my bedroom window.
Oh, you live
Here?
So I hear now white noise whenever. By the way, stalkers, now you know where I live. But yeah, it's not. And listen, it could be a lot worse.
But
The
smell,
food is amazing. So.
the smell. How do you fall asleep?
To their credit, here's the thing: is there were huge protests to actually try to not get that place to open, and the deal was they were supposed to stay inside, and the thing is,
Literally, we were eating under your window.
yes, and was it? Yeah.
Yeah, you got a nice
No,
backyard.
we threw some lamb up at your window.
Oh no, you know what it is? In general, it's fine, but if I'm having a day where I'm a comedian, so if I'm writing from 7 to 10 o'clock, like if I have a job where if I'm not going out for the night, it ruins my apartment. But if I just stick to comedian hours, I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but that's it. But they did this little pandemic game of under the cover of COVID. They went and got the permit expanded, and right now we're dealing with mayors and people who like to expand the restaurants. And my thing is, why don't you go expand into the empty restaurant next door instead of expanding on the street, which is a community thing? What do you have to be on the streets? There's so much empty real estate right now. They could be in all.
That's a good point.
People
Yeah.
don't want to be indoors.
Well, that place is going to be indoors. They're expanding the indoors and the indoor shed and the sheds.
If they're out in the street, how is it indoors?
That's where the frame
That
is
one.
right
So
there.
you see the frame. They're expanding. So what I'm upset about, people, hasn't happened yet. It's happening. So I don't mind. I actually hate the street parking too, because we're all wondering why there's so many rats in New York City, and yet we're eating our food outside.
Yeah, and we saw some rats the other day.
Yeah, and I won't bring my oldest nephew here because he's a little squeamish about germs. Like he likes to. How do I say this? He likes to visit the relatives who have the cleaning lady more. He's one of those. I have a cleaning lady. That's my only luxury. But he won't come to New York City, and his mother won't come to New York City. They're like, oh, New York City is dirty. And I'm like, Columbus Avenue is like a mall, man. This is a nice block. But now they got the little rats on 74th Street. But now you have the rats, they're like the rats from Cinderella. They're squeaking, they're talking. They're jumping on. Like there was one so big it was like a pony. Yeah, one smoking cigarettes. I like the funny guy.
You're like smoking too.
I like the guy.
Yeah, I could be on your show. I'm like a
Well, you are on
frustrated
the show. I
comedian.
like
Oh, I think
What did you do for work? What did you do for work?
I'm an architect.
Oh,
I'm
my
a
God.
frustrated comedian.
Wait a second. I have a nephew, and my audience knows this. My nephew, who's sort of living with me on Monday nights, is an architect. Are you still working? Are you still working?
I am still working.
Okay. I have a nephew who needs hours. He's going for his master's degree. And could I set you my nephew Nico, who everybody at the show loves?
Work in Boston?
What's that?
Does he want to work in Boston?
Well, here's the problem. He doesn't want to work in Boston, but he needs to meet smart people. And that's one of the things we're talking about.
But he's not smart.
No, you know what? I think deep down he's got this kind of jerky exterior, but he's a good guy.
Oh, he is a good
Yeah.
guy.
Yeah?
Yeah,
He
he is a
does
good
have
guy.
a jerky
Yeah, he does.
And he's my husband. I
Work,
think so.
you know, we could probably work from New York to Boston. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
everybody, and that's the thing is, actually, I feel bad. This came up in the New York Times, and this was his real experience. No,
Does he
that
know AutoCAD and Revit? Yeah, send him.
yeah, he's a sharp kid. You know what's funny? So there was a day, you guys know this, when I had my friend Jeremy on the podcast. Nico was in the room, but you ever have a day where you have a kid in your life and you think they're an idiot, right? And then you have one of your smart friends, and then he starts talking to one of my smart friends, and then I became the idiot at the dinner table.
Yeah.
Like they were talking architecture, this, development, that, CAD, and all the other big things. And right now, he just needs to meet people. And that's the other thing too with the interns nowadays. What's the point of interning if you can't go in and meet the boss and kiss his ass in the elevator? So he was going in, he was getting paid, and then they offered him remote hours, and he's like, you know what? I'm not meeting anybody. I might as well work from the pool, And they basically said, come in person 3 days a week, because nobody was coming into the office.
I really want to know what's going on now.
Well, oh my
yeah,
God.
join us.
Good, join us. Get in, Australian lady. Come on. But you can't do it from far away. Get in
I'm
here.
with the government.
Which government?
Oh my God,
Is
you're
that
right up
government?
in my face. It's like,
Get in. No, come sit down with us. Come sit.
I just had my little toenails done.
Oh, you could squat. You don't have to. What's that?
And you were taking the picture.
So wait, you met this lady?
We did.
Yes, we
This
did.
is a small New York
Do you
City.
remember you were taking?
Took the picture.
I talk to everybody. I'm Australian. I'm very friendly.
Is that the secret? You're just friendly because you're
Australians
Australian.
are very bloody friendly.
So what she just said was they are not very special.
Uptight.
Yeah, you know,
Americans are.
very uptight.
Let's
Oh,
talk.
yes,
Are Americans
I remember.
uptight? Ma'am, are Americans uptight?
Okay, he's very uptight.
Oh, wait, hang
He's
on.
very uptight. You need to loosen up a little bit. It may never happen.
Wait a second. I just want to point out, though, that watch this. I put the camera close to your face. You move backwards. I put it close to his. He's used to it.
Well, he's just not going to speak up. See, we're more forward, we're more open, because if you wanted my head in it, I was. Well, this is what we had in it.
Oh, God.
And I know I've got nice breasts, but we thought maybe you would like to see a little bit more of me. So if he's got it right up in his face, you had it in his face, you had mine in my boobies. Okay?
So it's funny you weren't here for it, but before the show we had it in other body parts, which was uncomfortable.
Yes.
Yeah,
my body.
it was uncomfortable.
Because I was commenting
My
to
boobies-
you.
My boobies were
We were walking in Central Park together
Yes.
yesterday.
Yes, we were.
And you took the picture with
With the model.
the model.
And then
Wait, hold on, wait. You guys met a model and you're not introducing me.
we literally met in Central
Male model, female model, what kind of model?
Photo bombing them,
Exactly.
and you said to me, "I wish I could."
I said I
Again,
didn't
he's
have
not
the
happy
nerve.
with my bloody head. And you
I
said
didn't have the nerve.
I didn't have the nerve to do it. I'm an Aussie. We have the nerve to do
We
everything.
just met the other day.
Yeah.
How funny is that?
How funny is that?
You just bumped into these people while they're being open enough to sit in the middle of an avenue and talk to a comedian who's a stranger. I feel like you guys are meant to be friends.
That we
I
are.
think we need to come visit you in Australia.
I think that you are kindred spirits. I totally agree with
Well,
you.
I feel like you live in America now, though, for a long
Well,
time.
I live here, but not for much longer. Sorry, America.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, we have someone who needs a green card here on the show. No, you're getting
No,
out?
we don't need a green card.
Why are you leaving?
Because I live in a country that looks after you better than America. We have free health care. We have a government that works for the people. We don't have any guns. We're not allowed to have any guns anymore. They were taken away in 1993 after a mass killing. I could go on, people. Let's do a bloody show.
Well, we have been, and I'm glad you're here.
That's why I was saying it. One of the reasons that I would go home, because I'm going to be looked after in my old age. I know I look like a supermodel, but I'm not. And I'm a little long in the tooth. So, but yes, they absolutely need to pick up their game. It's a disgrace of what's gone on over the last bloody 10 to 15 years.
yeah, it's awful.
Yeah. So I'm crossing my fingers for you, bloody. I do like yous, but I'm not staying. Okay?
How long have you been?
I don't know if this is really
5 years now.
Oh, you've lived in America 5 years. I don't know if this is really me changing the topic to something happier, but
That's okay.
how do you think we could get a game of Duck Duck Goose going here in the middle of Columbus Avenue?
absolutely.
I think like,
absolutely.
like
Duck goose.
Oh, well, yeah.
Here we
Jeez.
go. What's duck goose, people?
lady,
Duck duck.
we're gonna play Celebrity Duck Duck.
Sitting down. I'm not screwing up my nails for you people.
Well, you're not gonna screw up your nails
Yes, I've
sitting.
already screwed them. I had to go back and fix them. Obviously, I'm not very good on my bloody feet.
All right, well-
Again, he's got my tits in it. I don't know what's wrong with him. but
I don't see the shot.
Man.
Okay, here we go.
That's it.
And honestly, it's predominantly an audio podcast, so we'll be fine.
Okay. Good. Not that I'm.
Oh, puppies and guy. Hi, wave. Yes, no, no. Yeah. See,
That's a New Yorker. That's why I'm going home to Australia, because random people like these sitting on the ground
to
and
figure out how it is that we ran into you in Central
Yeah.
Park, and here we are
Well,
sitting on
I'm
the
a big
middle of
walker.
Central.
I walk everywhere. It's like, and I love people. And I love to meet people. I like to be silly. I like to stay authentically who I am. I don't put on an act.
That's what I
As you can see, we've had no work done here. She's all natural.
she's married. So the Australian is married 3 times. Why did you get married a 3rd time? I say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Third
Fool me
time.
3 times, keep my shit. Is sort of my
Moron. Moron.
What happened the 3rd time? What made you think it would work?
Because I was getting a bit older and thought, oh, I wouldn't mind another dip in the pond. And let's see.
Were you dipping?
Yeah, whatever bloody pond at that point, because I thought I'm not going to get another one, so I'll have a crack at him. And I did.
Was he an American?
Yes. And look, he's a nice enough
Green card.
fella.
No.
But he's just constantly, when are you coming home? What are you doing? I'm working. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. He was a little too much. So if you're listening or watching this, sweetie, you're a nice man, but you were choking me.
And you said you're friends with your exes. See, I disagree
Yeah.
with that.
Are you? Do you?
Yeah,
Well,
why are you friends with your exes? I feel like if you're an ex, there's a reason.
Why wouldn't you be? If you love somebody, why do you have to end up disliking them or not being friends with them?
Because that's how I get over it.
Well,
I need to
okay.
key your car. Actually, you see that car with the flat tire there? That's one of my exes. I did that.
Well, we're not getting married then, are we, buddy? I thought we had a chance there
No.
when you were being. So I thought, okay, he's animated like me. He's on the ground talking to strangers.
Yeah, there was a chance.
I believe that.
I like you. I like you, Australian lady.
Yeah, well,
Find me.
it's not like you're an ugly prick. You're a handsome fella.
There you go. I'm telling you.
Whoa.
I like her.
There's
I like her.
And I don't say it if I don't mean it. If you were an ugly prick, I'd go, lovely to meet you, and I'd be out.
What do you do for work? What do you do for work?
I do personal training, actually.
Okay, where? Or not here
Just
anymore?
independently here.
Very nice.
Yeah, kick some ass. I mean, my face might look like I'm 60, but my ass looks like I'm 20. Just saying, people, just saying. Do you want a little twirl?
yeah.
You know, you yelled at me before. Twirl one more time for the.
It's not.
Okay, this is
But I think the quota today is, I'm 6. My face looks like I'm 60, but my ass looks like I'm 20. We're not going to top that. We are not going to top that.
we're done. Bye-bye.
All right, bye guys. Bye bye. So maybe I should start doing this podcast a little bit more outside, because I don't know if I got new listeners, but I made new friends. And yeah, I had a whole list of things I wanted to talk to, and I feel like we sidetracked. So, hey, was that fun? Did you experience something there? So, on the advice of Susanna Marcella, after showing her everything you just saw, I said, hey, Susanna, should I release the episode? What do you think? Will people like that? And she said, Tom, why don't you ask your super fans, what advice would you give a 60-something-year-old couple moving from Boston to New York City? And I got 50 comments, and it was just not what I thought people would say. So Kevin Regan says, don't worry, you won't have to learn to use your R's. You just have to learn not to use your R's in a different way. Not bad. Funny, Kevin. Good job. Dennis Doolittle says, don't talk about the Patriots, the Red Sox, or the Celtics. That's right, buddy. Nobody wants to hear about the damn Boston sports teams. We don't want to hear when they're up. We don't want to hear when they're doing good. Just say, go Yankees, go Mets. You will be fine. Triton Greywind. I have a friend named Triton Greywind. Bathrooms are far and few between. There's a 40-minute wait, padlocks, and when you get inside, you're the janitor and plumber. Use diapers instead. And this is advice again. Advice for a couple just moving to New York. Andrea says, just stay in Boston. Zach Solomon says, we don't want you. Bev Brooks Sutton, my friend Bev, Mermaid Bev, one of my favorite legendary sirens at Wikiwachi, she said, don't go. Bev, when was the last time you were in New York? And this sort of happens as we go down the list here. There's a lot of people who have never been to New York saying, don't go to New York. Mark DeMeo says, seek psychiatric help. Now, in Mark DeMeo's case, well, at least he's a comedian and he's a former police officer, so he's on the money. Advice for people from Boston moving to New York City. Skip the seafood, but nearly every other cuisine is better in New York City, but Boston wins for cooked seafood. Sushi is the same in both cities. Joe Curry says, keep going until you hit the Carolinas. Angela Weiss, okay, my friend Robin's mom, says, stay in Boston. Angela, you have been in Florida for 20 years. You have not been back to New York. And you're not wrong, but that's kind of tough. Patricia Maureen, Jack Squicciarini's mom, says, go back. New York City has changed. I will be honest, the glow isn't quite there. And then, yeah, just a few funny ones. Another, Lauren Basso, Lauren, who has been on the show, Lauren Ray. Don't expect to get in and out of the city as easily as you could in Boston. Best advice, though, there's no way to compare to cities. One is not better than the other. They're each wonderful, different things. Just try to roll with whatever it offers. That's sweet. That's sweet. Oh my God, very poetic. And this is where you get into the politics I don't want to get into. My friend Shadow says, Tom, look at the data. Yes, crime has spiked in recent years, but only back to 2009 levels. People simply don't know what they're talking about. And Shadow is right, but he's wrong. New York City is not as nice as it was 5 years ago, but it's not as bad as it was 20 or 30 years ago. That said, New York deserves more. Oh, I like this one from Andrew Garcia. Advice I should take myself. Join some community groups related to your hobbies and interests. Urban loneliness is real. And we kind of hit that here on the podcast quite a bit. Eric Leiden says, be afraid. Be very afraid. Mary Ann from Brooklyn, who is also Howard Stern's Mary Ann from Brooklyn. She says, don't do it. And there you go, people. A little bonus and your opinions on what people are thinking about a couple that would move from Boston down to New York City. And that's about it, guys. If I haven't asked already in the show, show love where love can be shown. Also, we'll talk about this maybe in the next couple of podcasts, but guess who dyed his hair? We'll talk about that later. And as always, guys, thank you for your love and good night, Boston.